Hello all, how are you doing? I hope your motivation for keeping up is still going strong. Hope you're doing well. Soon we're moving out of that winter blue, so back into spring. We had a bit of snow actually here the other day, and I hate the snow. It's pretty, but it just means it's too cold, and I hate the cold. So yeah, I'm looking forward to spring rolling around. I thought today the video that we're gonna make, what I'm gonna make, for you to watch to your enjoyment, is going to be a somewhat kind of reflection on my sort of motivations and goals and how I've been progressing through them through January. Because look, that first video, we were like all pumped up, like, yeah, this is my goal, this is what I'm going to be doing. I feel so energized. This is the year of the grind. I'm going to smash it and I'm going to come out the other end absolutely incredible, like a whole new different person. And, it's the same with absolutely everyone. We all get that really strong internal just burst of energy, of that willpower, that motivation, that dopamine. And it's so intoxicating. And we do genuinely believe in that moment that yes, this is the different time. This is that one time I'm actually gonna make the change. This time is different, right? This time is different. I'm actually gonna do it this time. And maybe a week, 2 weeks in, you're then starting to feel the drain of it. And come February, maybe you've given up on it entirely. Maybe you've forgotten about it. Maybe it's still something that you want to be working towards or wanting to achieve, but you've just lost that drive and that kind of inner passion for it. Because I can say that I I've not lost my drive or my passion. I've lost the energy, and there's a real thing of putting something out there, putting it out in the open, and it's off your chest, it's off your mind, and it genuinely is a fantastic way to help let go of some things and to be able to continue, pushing forward. So I'm gonna use this video for that effect, to kind of give a little kind of reflect on myself and how I've been throughout this month. And I hope that some of the things that I say might ring true with you. And even if they don't, this might serve as a useful and helpful kind of guide or an example for you to use to how to look back on yourself in a very, again, I don't want to say positive because I want to be realistic here, okay? If we keep using positivity, we're at risk of confusing that with, toxic positivity, which is just so unhelpful. So I'm gonna do a realistic, healthy reflection. So, where to begin? Where to begin? So, I suppose starting from the beginning, my motivation energy that I had from New Year's, I was able to carry that for a good few weeks because, so I work at schools, I was still on school holiday, and I wasn't back until like the 14th, the 15th, properly, or maybe like the 12th. So for those 2 weeks after, where I'd been like, okay, here's my New Year goal, this is what I'm going to be doing, this is how I'm going to achieve it, boom, let's go. And I had those 2 weeks where I wasn't distracted by anything else. I could just wake up, and I could do the morning routine, and I could do the next thing and the next thing, and it was brilliant. It was just focused purely on that, and I felt good. I felt good about it. I would slip up here and there, as you would expect, but for the most part, the energy, that drive, that groundedness was there. And I actually went on New Year's Day. I went on a New Year hike. And the hike was a whole emotional roller coaster for me, to be honest. I set off and I was in really good spirits and kind of It was cold as well. I don't really enjoy walking up mountains. When it's cold, I prefer it in summer. I'm a tank top boy. Get me out in a tank top, and I'm happy. Just I got the sun, the heat. I don't know. I love it. Put me on a beach. Put me in a tank top. I'm happy. And so I was going up, and then just my mental state, was just kind of. It genuinely was a complete mental representation of the journey of the hike. It was up and down, and then up, and then back down again, and then kind of plateaued a little bit. And to me, I took that as a real metaphor for how this year is genuinely going to be. It is going to be at times real strong bursts of motivation and energy and willpower, and you are going to make massive strides up. But even while going up, you might then suddenly dip, and you might have to go down that mountain a little bit, and you might feel really bad that you're failing, and that it's not worth it, that you can't do it, that you can't change. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, you get that boop, you go back up again. Maybe you might plateau. And the way my my emotions and my mental state was for this hike, is exactly how life is going to be. You are going to be on this journey, and there are going to be moments where you do have just such strong, genuine bursts of energy, and there are other times when you do really feel like you're going downhill, and that you're failing, that you're not making progress, or the progress that you have made is all being undone because you're now going back downhill. And when you're in that moment of going back downhill, and you're thinking that everything's going wrong, it's so hard to not get lost in that mind state. It's so hard to not feel present, that you just want to obsess over all the negative things that are going wrong, and that because you're now doing what you said you weren't going to do, you feel like you just can't change. You feel like, what's the point? If I can't change now, how am I going to change in the future? How am I going to make the life that I want to make when I cannot do this thing right here, right now? And you get so lost in your head. And it's so easy to forget about all the uphill walking that you've done, right? Imagine it's like a 3,000 meter mountain. It's a big mountain, I know, but it's representative of our life goals. 3,000 meter mountain, okay? And you walk about 1,500 meters up, right? You've done about halfway, and it's all been going really well, right? Those are those first 2 weeks after New Year, right? You got that energy and that motivation, okay? So you get to about 1,500 meters, and then you hit your emotional difficulty, that resilience. Your old self starts to fight back, and maybe you backtrack 500 meters, okay? And in those 500 meters going back down the mountain, that's you thinking, oh my God, I cannot do this, I'm a failure. What is the point? Like, I've undone everything that I have just done. I'm gonna have to work even harder now to get back to where I was. That's the mind state that we so easily fall into. We just focus on that negativity. But we forget about the current 1,000 meters that we've still got underneath us. Like, we walked 1,500 meters forward, and we've taken a 500 meter step back. All right? It's not even half the progress that we've made. But yet we still feel like we're a complete failure, and we're completely messing up. And currently, I'm not struggling so much with that, but I am having to mentally check myself a fair bit. With the start of the school term, I do work with energetic kids who if it's an elementary school, I see them once every 2 months. So when I do come for them, it is a treat. It is a treat. It's a fun day because we're going to play games and have fun, right? So they're all energetic, and I'm having to lift them up and whatever, and I'm spending a lot of physical and mental energy. So I get home after the day, and I'm tired. I'm mentally drained. So a little bit physically, but it's more mental energy that has been expended. So, and then I go to the gym after that. So some days I'm just knackered, and that mental resources, that mental energy that I have has been wiped throughout the day. So I say to myself, why am I not getting up and doing my morning routine? Why am I not doing the evening routine? I know I can do this. I have done it in the past. Why am I not doing it now? I can't change. I cannot change. What is the point? I'm always going to be the same version of me that has been the same Harry throughout, all the years of my past. How am I meant to change my future self when I cannot do these things now? And I do get quite frustrated. I don't know if a little bit of that passion sort of slipped out there. I am quite critical of myself, and I always have been. Everyone's always said I've been really critical of myself. I always felt like I had to, with all the mental turmoil I had to be critical of myself because the low self-esteem and the zero confidence, if I made like a single mistake, in terms of social dynamics, my whole world would collapse. Eventually did with the mental breakdown, but aside from that, I always have had to be quite critical of myself in order to keep myself from not completely slipping. If I let go, my mental turmoil would have taken over a lot sooner, and the repercussions probably could have been a lot worse. And it's frustrating because I do see a real potential for myself. I'm not trying to inflate my ego. I'm not going to be the next Steve Jobs, right? But I do think that I have potential to make and create something for myself. I want to be able to. I had a nice upbringing. Apart from the mental anguish, materialistically, I had a brilliant upbringing. I went to private school. We went on nice holidays. I did really, really cool stuff, and I had, very fortunate with the house that I grew up in, and the food and the activities that I got to eat and enjoy it. And then that's a level that I want to meet. If I don't meet that level, minimum, to me, I've failed. And at the moment, my current trajectory, I don't see myself meeting that minimum. I don't see myself meeting that base standard, and so I have to be critical of myself. So when I do enter this kind of critical state because I'm not doing the things that I was doing, I beat myself up for it. But I forget or I neglect to take into account that we were on holiday. We didn't have any stress. We didn't have any mentally draining activities going on. So while I'm, taking these steps back now, I'm in a different scenario. I'm in a different environment. And you need to be present. You need to be aware of these things, and you need to be able to adapt. You can't just, set out a routine and a schedule for, even if it's a holiday period, for a holiday period and say, yeah, cool, this is what I need to be doing, this is what I have to be doing. And then you enter back into the work environment, or, a new stimulus enters, your environment, whether it's a friend coming over or whatever. If you don't adapt to that environment and you keep trying to hammer on with what's previously been set and you don't get results, that's not you failing, that's just not you adapting. You're taking steps back down the mountain because you're walking uphill on a slippery slope, just wearing trainers with no grip, all right? You might think you're walking forward, but you've just got no traction. You're not prepared for your environment. And if that starts happening and you really start to beat yourself up thinking, I know I can do this because I have been doing it. Why can I not do it now? Take a step back, take some breaths, do some just light meditation, go for a walk. And I know, breathe and go for a walk is such like cliche, maybe cringe advice that you might hear, when it comes from a person who doesn't really understand those things. It's like, oh my God, just go for a walk. It's just so nice outside. There is actually genuine like biological reason why these things work. Breathing affects the nervous system of your spine, and it tells the actual body, it physically tells the body, we are safe, so we can relax. Walking, I haven't got the quite science, but it has been proven to genuinely just help clear your mind. I've done it before and I can vouch for that. Go out for a walk, leave your phone behind, don't put any music in, don't go with a friend, just go somewhere potentially nice if you can, like a park or the woods if you do have that luxury. And just walk and just watch your mind sort itself out. Don't think, just don't force any thoughts. Just let the thoughts surface and just let them run their course naturally, and you'll come back home and you'll feel like you've just figured out 10 different things. So take a step back, calm yourself down, and reflect on why things were going well when they were going well, because they were going well for a reason. Reflect on what it is that made that period of time good and successful, and then compare it to your current environment. What has changed? Has anything changed? If not anything external, has anything internal changed? Do I feel more stressed? Do I feel more anxious? Do I feel more angry compared to when this period of time, when I was making good movements? And if you can spot any differences, brilliant, fantastic. What changes now can you make to your current situation to maybe not, completely simulate beforehand, because this is reality, life is chaos, things are going to change. But how can you maybe stimulate certain elements of that? How can you adapt your current environment to evoke the certain requirements that were needed to make this period good? Another thing that we need to be careful of, or maybe not, but this is something that I find happens to me a lot. So when I don't get up in the morning for my morning routine, and I do have genuine reasons why I need and want to do my morning routine. For one, it's a matter of self-control, to prove to myself and to really hone in that discipline and that idea that I am in control of myself. You wake up in the morning, you're cozy, and at the moment it's cold, you don't want to get out of bed, and when you get out of bed, that's really signifies to my mind that, okay, you have to take on the day now, and that all the stresses and all the work and activities and mentally draining things that come with the day, you now have to face. Staying in bed is a way of escape. It's hiding. So me doing my morning routine is one, to show I have that element of control over myself, to say, hey, yeah, that's fine. I am in control. I am in power of my decisions and my actions, and I'm not scared. I'm not scared to face the day. What happens, happens, and I will face that because I know I have that inner strength too. And the other reason it does set me up for the day, it's a way to wake up my body, my mind slowly, so that it can just naturally, surface. I can hydrate, and then I'm ready and I'm set for the day to have a good day. However, when I don't do it, that critical, my overcritical self gets really angry at me. And, as I said earlier, those voices of, you can't do this, why bother, you're never going to change, just give up, because what is the point? You're setting yourself expectations, you're not meeting them, so what is the point? You're just putting yourself in this strife and turmoil. Just give up, just don't do it. Then you won't feel this pain. But I know if I just give up and I don't even try, I'll be in more pain, because I know I could be doing better, but yet I'm just hiding from them, hiding from the pain that I'm feeling right now. But this pain that I'm feeling right now is less than the pain of hiding. Lesser of two evils, right? Well, I don't actually know if that phrase fits. It does fit. Good old philosophy. But for some reason, me getting frustrated at myself hasn't actually made it any easier to do the morning routine. It's made me hide more. It's made me take a step back more. And as well, because there aren't any consequences to my actions, apart from my own mental, well-being, but I've lived with pain for a very, very long time. And I've been in extreme mental pain through the mental breakdown. I know I can handle it, and I know what it's like. I'm very used to it. I can deal with it. It's absolutely not a problem to me. So because I don't get up in the morning and I just have, maybe the morning is a bit of anguish and the rest of the day is fine, there's no real consequence. So there's no real driving force behind me getting up apart from me. So getting angry at myself hasn't been a motivation factor. It's been the opposite. It's been one to force me more into hiding. And I think it's because I'm putting pressure on myself. And obviously I think you should put pressure on yourself because, how else are you going to get things done? But when you apply that pressure incorrectly to yourself, it's going to misfire. And I think that's what's kind of happening with me at the moment is I'm misfiring. I've not taken into account my environment and my situation's changed. I'm back at school and I'm working with children who is very mentally and physically taxing. And I'm expecting myself to still perform to my highest level when I was in a rest period. And because of this pressure I'm putting on myself without realizing the situation, it's misfiring. It's making me feel hopeless. So what I need to do is reflect on my situation, reflect on how my days are. I need to plan and schedule and time block for these things. Okay, if I am coming home and I am quite tired, do a 15-minute breathing exercise, then go to the gym, come home and eat, and I'm resting during that eating and cooking period, and then do the next thing. Don't just power the whole way through with the assumption that if I power each and every day through, what I'm actually trying to do is, I'm growing that resilience, I'm growing that mental strength. I'm not. I'm wearing myself out. And I'm getting angry that I'm wearing myself out. And I'm angry at the fact that I am tired and not doing what needs to be done. I also need to look at how far up the mountain I've walked and compare that to how far I think I'm walking back down. And I need to do that in a very fair retrospect and judge that fairly. And maybe if you have the benefit of having someone else close in your life, physically close, that can actually see, or something maybe you talk to, who are just, relationship-wise close, and maybe ask them to evaluate your progress. Because we can always be biased or overcritical of ourselves. So getting that outside perspective to give a fair reflection of yourself may be quite good. To say, hey, you are taking a step back, but from where you were to begin with, from how I originally knew you, bruv, you've walked so far, and I'm so proud of you. And that might be a really nice motivational boost and a nice fair assessment of yourself to ground yourself and to help you kind of see reality for what the reality is and not how you're trying to interpret reality to fit that in a narrative. And there's one other kind of point I'll make before I wrap this up. I'm struggling to kind of think how to phrase this correctly. I'm doing this off script, just off the top of my head. And it's a balance of relaxing, but also keeping the pressure on. It's like sitting on a seesaw and you've got relax on one end, and you've got pressure on the other. And you want to keep the seesaw. This advice isn't for everyone, that's the thing with all these videos online. The way that, we're going to sell it is saying, this is what you need to do. Do it this way, do it that way. This is how everyone else does it. We're all different. We're all unique. We all have our own personalities and experiences. Yes, some things might fit a wide audience, but not everything is for everyone. And just because something doesn't work for you does not mean it's not bad advice, or that does not mean that you're broken or whatever. So for me, what I'm kind of trying to realize right now is I need to work with my overcritical voice. If I put too much pressure on and if I'm overcritical, the pressure comes off and the relaxation goes up because I'm not relaxing, I'm avoiding, I'm hiding from this pain. And with all the videos that we see online with, Instagram and YouTube, the people promoting or trying to offer advice that we're looking up to, they're there. They've done the work and they're there now. They have the money, they have the nice cameras, they have the beautiful backgrounds of all the fancy neon lights and the 1,000 quid plants. I don't know how much plants cost, but I think they're expensive. They're there, right? And they're saying, hey, do this, do that, and do this. And within 2 weeks, you can be like me, making £10,000 a month. Get all the girls that you want. Go on all of the holidays that you want to go on. Live where you want to live. And, when you work a full day, you only have so much free time. You want to maximize that free time in order to work on your projects, to get the most out that you can. And so it's hard to not have so much pressure put on yourself because you're looking at all these other people with all the progress that they've made, with all the success that they've built, with all the material possessions that they've gained. And you want to be like that. And when you mess up in the little free time that you have, it's incredibly frustrating. It's incredibly frustrating because you need to be maximizing all the free time that you have to get to where you want to go to. But if you attempt to maximize absolutely everything and it doesn't work and you get angry and frustrated at yourself for not, achieving what you need to achieve, you're going to be wasting more time than not maximizing because now you've got this negative energy towards it. And you're not going to be approaching it the best way that you could be. And that's one thing I struggle with is knowing how to judge myself compared to these other people and saying, I have the potential to be where they are. I like to think I do. But they've had to go through their own journey. They're just not showing it right now. All the videos that I'm watching right now aren't showing that. I'm doing my own journey. I'm walking my own path. I've had my own experiences. I've got my own personality. And it's my duty, it's my responsibility to find out how to balance my life. Where do I relax and how do I relax? And where do I put the pressure and how do I put the pressure on? And find that balance and be comfortable and confident that this is what my balance is what I need to do because I know myself. So that when I see these other videos saying, hey, do this in a month, and then you're there, and then I do that stuff, and in a month I'm not there, it's like, okay, it's fine, because I'm doing my own path. I need to do the things my way in order to get to where I need to get to. They had things that work for them, I have things that work for me. This has gone on a lot longer than I had originally anticipated. I thought this was going to be 5 minutes. Well, look, I'll quickly summarize. We're in February now. You're probably having that lack of motivation and that energy compared to maybe the Christmas holiday period. So reflect on why things were going well then. Reflect on how things have changed now. Try and adapt to your current situation. Take a step back. Maybe ask someone to evaluate how much progress you've made or where you're slipping back on so that you can actively attack those areas in a good way and relax and take that pressure off yourself to be the best right here, right now. It's a long road. It is a long road. And some people have gotten to the end sooner than others. Some people will take much longer than others to get there. But if we understand that and we respect that, then all of us will get there. We will all get there at our own pace, at our own time. And if we do it at our own pace, at our own time, we truly will build a meaningful relationship with the work that we've done, with the character that we've built and the success that we've made. It will mean something to us. And I think that's a real beautiful thing. So look, I thought this was going to be 5 minutes. If you've stuck around to the end, my God, what an attention span you have. Appreciate listening to me for this long. That's a real honor for me, genuinely, to have you listen for this long. It's awesome, genuinely awesome. If you've found some thing of value out of this video, please drop us a like. It'd be very useful to know. Give us a subscribe if you feel like you want to watch more of my stuff in the future. I hope you have a blessed day. Mwah.